Have you ever met someone and within seconds you felt a spark, a pull, something almost magnetic? Or maybe you've had a relationship that started with butterflies only to slowly unravel as time passed. What if I told you there's a deeper reason behind why some people fall head over heels for you, and it has nothing to do with the surface level things like your looks or charm? This is something that Carl Jung, one of the most influential minds in psychology, spent years exploring. And today, we're going to look at the two profound reasons why people fall in love with you, and why these reasons go beyond anything you've ever thought. If you've ever wondered why love feels so complicated or destined, stick around. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to Shadow Script so you can keep diving deep into the mysteries of the human mind with us. Let's begin. Imagine this. You're a person who's always been self-controlled, perhaps even a little reserved. You don't easily show your emotions, and your life is well structured. But one day, you meet someone who is everything you aren't. Spontaneous, passionate, and full of life. They laugh loudly, they embrace their emotions without hesitation, and they're unapologetically themselves. At first, maybe you're intrigued. You wonder what makes them tick. You admire their confidence. But what's actually happening beneath the surface is much more powerful than mere admiration. This is where Carl Jung's idea of projection comes in. You see, your unconscious mind is recognizing something in them, a quality you've repressed in yourself, a part of you that's hidden deep within your psyche. And that, my friend, is why you feel so drawn to them. You're not just admiring their boldness, their free spirit, or their confidence. No, what's happening is that your unconscious is longing to be free, to feel that kind of emotional freedom. Let's take an example that many of us can relate to. Think about a time when you were introverted and shy, but you met someone who was so extroverted and full of energy that you couldn't help but feel mesmerized. You might have thought it was just attraction, but it's more than that. It's the part of you that's been hidden, the extrovert within you that's never had the chance to surface. This is what Jung meant by projection. You're not seeing the person you're falling for. You're seeing the potential in yourself that they represent. You want to be bold like them. You want to embrace life with the same intensity. And so this unconscious need for growth draws you to them. This is how projection works. It's the mind projecting onto another person the qualities you wish to develop, qualities that are buried under years of social conditioning or emotional repression. And now, here's the reason behind it all. You represent something they lack. Whether they're looking for your confidence, your calmness, or your wild spontaneity, they're drawn to you because you possess what they haven't allowed themselves to embrace yet.
But, and this is very important to understand, there's a danger here. Projection isn't always a good thing. At first, it feels magical, right? You think you've found the perfect match, someone who completes you in ways you didn't even realize you needed. But here's the catch. Projection doesn't show you who they are. It shows you who you want them to be. This can be devastating. You might fall so deeply in love with the idea of them, with the qualities they represent, that you overlook the reality of who they really are. What you're seeing isn't them. It's a fantasy your unconscious mind created. When the fantasy begins to crack, when their flaws emerge, or when they fail to meet your expectations, the illusion begins to fade. This is where confusion enters the picture. You might wonder, what happened to the person I fell in love with? Where did that spark go? But what's really happening is that the illusion of perfection is being shattered. And this is when projection often turns from a beautiful connection into pain and disappointment. Imagine being in a relationship with someone who seems perfect. Everything is harmonious. You feel like you're living in a movie. Everything feels right. But then suddenly you notice they have bad habits. They don't listen to you, or
They might not share the same dreams you thought they did. The magic starts to fade, and you feel confused. This is the danger of projection. It's not the real person you're in love with, it's the idealized version of them. Now, let's dive even deeper into Jung's fascinating ideas. You see, the reason people are drawn to you is not just about what you represent on a conscious level, it's also about what you awaken deep within their unconscious minds. This is where the concepts of the anima and animus come into play. Jung believed that each of us carries within us an unconscious image of the opposite sex. Men carry the anima, the feminine side, and women carry the animus, the masculine side. This is not just preferences, these are archetypes, deep psychological blueprints that shape our emotions, desires, and attractions. Let's take a man, for example. He might be strong, logical, and structured in his life, but there's also a part of him that craves softness, intuition, and emotional depth, qualities of the anima. So when he meets a woman who embodies these qualities, someone who is emotionally intuitive and deeply connected to her feelings, he's drawn to her, not just because of who she is on the surface, but because she activates that part of him, the feminine energy he's been repressing. On the other hand, let's look at a woman who's been taught to be nurturing, caring, and understanding. She might meet a man who is decisive, strong-willed, and assertive, qualities of the animus. She doesn't just feel attracted to his strength, she feels something deeper, like he embodies a part of her that's been hidden. Maybe she's always been shy, afraid to stand up for herself, and now, meeting him, she feels empowered to embrace her own power. These attractions are not random. They're deeply meaningful because they represent parts of ourselves that we're often unaware of. These parts, the anima and animus, are the unconscious images we've developed from childhood, shaped by our relationships with our parents and the cultural symbols of femininity and masculinity that we inherit. And here's the reason behind this. You awaken a powerful unconscious image they've carried within them. You represent an archetype they've been subconsciously searching for, something that's been lying dormant in their psyche for years. When they meet you, it feels like a deep, soul-stirring connection, like they've found a missing part of themselves. But here's something to consider. Are these connections really fate? Are they cosmic soulmates destined to be together? Jung didn't believe in fate the way we often think of it. Instead, he thought these connections were driven by the need for growth. These unconscious archetypes are not random. They exist to push us toward the next stage of our psychological development. Imagine falling in love with someone and feeling like everything in your life is aligning. It feels like you've known them forever. There's a sense of destiny, of rightness. But what if this connection isn't about love at first sight? It's about something far deeper. It's about triggering the need for growth, both for you and for them. This doesn't mean that all these relationships are meant to last forever. Some people come into our lives to awaken something we need to see in ourselves. Others come to challenge us, to break down old patterns and force us to grow. They're not mistakes, even the painful ones. In fact, these are some of the most transformative encounters. Take the example of a relationship that's brief but powerful. It might feel like a whirlwind filled with emotional highs only to crash and burn in a messy breakup. But even in the pain, there's growth. You learn something about yourself. You learned to stand up for yourself, to set boundaries, or perhaps you saw your own insecurities reflected back at you. These relationships don't end in failure, they end in transformation. So, why do people fall in love with you? It's not as random as it seems. You either represent something they lack, or you awaken something deep inside them, their unconscious anima or animus. But the most beautiful part is that love, at its core, is a journey of self-discovery. Every time you connect with someone, you're not just falling for them, you're falling for a part of yourself that's been hidden in the shadows. Love is more than attraction. It's an invitation to grow, to awaken to the person you're meant to become. And the next time you feel that pull, that magnetic attraction, remember, it might just be the soul's way of calling you home to yourself. If this video resonated with you, or if you've ever experienced a deep connection like this, share it with someone who needs to hear this today. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights into the mysteries of love, life, and the mind. Let's continue this journey together.